What's up, y'all? What's up? It is your girl Chastity, the CEO of ChatZ W, and we are back again. And we do apologize for the inconvenience in our video. But if you guys have tuned in, please make sure y'all tune back in for the like, the share, and the comments. Definitely have some interesting information to tell us today. Um, this is also live on YouTube, so make sure y'all check out my YouTube channel. I'll post the link after we get off so y'all can check it out. Go like it, comment, do all that you would like to do for it. Hey y'all, it's Tuesday, and I know we are normally here on Mondays, but it is Tuesday, and we are going to let y'all chime in real quick. I'm not playing music this time because we're not going through that same process again. So y'all make sure y'all like sharing. Excuse me, y'all like sharing, comment. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful day. Tuesday is Tuesday, and we're tomorrow's hump day. So y'all already know how the week is going for us. We're almost there. So make sure y'all like, share, and comment. For everybody that was trying to get on, y'all tell y'all friends to come get on now. We back on. I got some details and information for y'all later for next week so we can know what next week's gonna become. But y'all definitely tune in. I see y'all tapping in, but I need y'all to be sharing, comment, and all that other stuff too. Cause I don't know. Okay. So let me take my brother to see if he can see. Y'all share it for me if y'all can. All right. I'll give y'all a second. I'm trying to make sure we got the okay that everybody can see us because I could still see us last time, but it's the fact nobody
Right. Right.
I see us. I'm just waiting for him to respond back and say either yes or no. All right, so we're gonna get started. So y'all, today we have a guest, my sister. Y'all, we met. Ooh, it's been a minute.
Maybe 6 or 7 years ago, maybe?
Right. It's definitely
Maybe?
been a
Yeah.
minute. We're both PKs, so we definitely have something major in common. Um, I want to say we met through a mutual friend. I honestly don't remember how we met. I just know that when I met you,
At a church meeting. Either Facebook
right,
or Florence. We'll say that. Either Facebook or Florence.
right. Yes, y'all. So she has been on Chats to Chats before. So if y'all have seen her before, she was on Chats to Chats before. She did an episode with Daquan. They did the I think the subject was around relationships and church or God. So can you date while in a relationship? Can you date while still worshiping? I can't remember how it was. It was something like that. I'm not even gonna tell you what it was, but that segment definitely that was my segment where we hit 1.k views. Like that definitely was the show for us.
Wow.
The numbers back up, y'all. It has been a long time. I'm trying to get everybody back out to how we were. So yeah, I'm gonna let her talk. Her name is Miss Candace Holmes. She is going to be our guru for tonight. So definitely make sure y'all have y'all paper and y'all pen so y'all can take some notes to further help yourself, help a friend, help somebody that you know that needs the help. Just to give them this little bit of information. We were live a couple of minutes ago. I'm not sure if anybody was able to see any of it, but like I said, y'all, if y'all have it, y'all make sure y'all like, share, and comment. I'm gonna be in and out commenting and going back and forth with her with comments. But make sure if y'all have any questions, please comment them in the chat so she can answer them the best of her knowledge. Okay. All right, the floor is yours.
All right, let's try this again. This is a full remix because I just told my husband, I was like, I don't want this vest on anymore. So I went upstairs and found another shirt and put on. So I did a wardrobe change. I'm being a diva tonight.
I know that's right.
So I'm not sure who heard this spiel before. And of course, I won't go through all of it. But basically, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I have a degree in business administration, and I'm finishing up a degree in organizational management leadership. I started preparing taxes about 23 years ago when I worked for a company that did tax resolution. And basically, I help taxpayers with their liabilities with the Internal Revenue Service and the state departments of revenue. My career field is education. So I've been in education for 18 years. I've worked everything from a baby room up to post secondary, where I am now a financial aid specialist at Trident Technical College here in Charleston. Um, Let me back up. Thank you, Chaz, for having me on tonight.
Okay.
We having to do this thing over. So thank you for having me on tonight. Thank you for everyone that is tuning in. I can't see anybody right now, but I know you all will get on, and that's okay. So, but yeah, so I realized about 5 years ago that this skill set, this knowledge base I had, that it was valuable, not just to the schools that I was servicing, but I've worked in other industries before. I have worked in corporate America as an administrative assistant and dealing with people's books and payroll and accounting and things of that nature. And so I recognize that a lot of small businesses don't want the overhead of employees. They don't have brick and mortar locations. Like Chaz, she's operating out of her home. I operate out of my home. And so to have an assistant or a secretary is not feasible for them. And so virtual assistants became big a couple of years ago. And I was like, well, I can do that because I'm good at what I do. I'm confident in that. I'm good at the service I provide. I've been what they call the girl Friday, the face that you see when you walk in the door with the smile on the face and the smile on the phone when you call, hello, thank you for calling ABC. So I said, well, I'm going to try to market this into something, a business for myself. So about 5 years ago, I formed an LLC here in South Carolina. And then life kind of happened. And I honestly lacked the discipline to really focus on that business. I moved away. And then 2 years ago, I was living in North Carolina, met my husband. As a matter of fact, that's the last time I was on, like right after I met him.
Okay.
So we met in April, got engaged in May, got married in July. And here we are now, still working this thing called marriage out. And it ain't easy. Every day ain't Sunday. It's some Friday nights and Saturday evenings in there. Y'all take that however y'all want to, but we still work to get to Sunday morning, if y'all know what I
Yeah,
mean.
that's right.
So, yeah, anything worth having is worth working for. And just to be a little transparent with you, my husband and I have experienced a lot of death in the last 6 months. We just attended a funeral on Friday. I know 4 widows personally in the last 4 months. So life is precious. So when you find somebody that you can make it through life with, and the bruises and the bumps, you do that, you stick it out. But anyway, so back to the business side of it. So, but I met my husband, moved to Montgomery, Alabama. And every year about November or December, I start looking for a company that needs someone to prepare taxes for them. So I found a company, minority owned, was going to work with her. And I went in the office one day, and to be honest, you all, I did not like the software. I was like, ew, I don't like this. But that's what she was using. So if I was going to work in her office, I had to use that. And most tax companies, they either pay you a flat rate, hourly rate, or they pay you an hourly rate and a percentage of the tax return, or they pay you a percentage of tax return. So it's almost like commission. And I thought about it. I was like, why should I have to split my tax prep fee with someone else, especially if I'm the one doing the work? So I told my husband when I came home, I said, I'm not gonna work for anybody. I'm keeping all our bread on the table. I'm feeding us. Charity begins at home. I'm keeping my bread on my table. And so I stepped out on faith, got me some flyers made, got me a Google Voice number, and didn't do too bad. I knew I wasn't going to be a millionaire in my first year, second year, maybe in my 30th year. That's okay. Because like I said, education is really my career field. It's my wheelhouse. It's an extension of ministry. I enjoy doing it. This is just my side hustle that I realize makes money for me. And so when we moved back to South Carolina in August, this is where I'm from. So I'm very well connected. I've got resources. I know people who know people who know people. And if you own a business, it's all about networking. Get your face, your body, and your name in the room. You just never really know who you may interact with. And so once again, I'm here and I'm working this business. And my specialty are helping small business, especially young minority business owners like Chastity, make sure they're compliant, make sure that they are properly formed, make sure that they have some type of accountability system in place
Right.
for their business. A lot of people start a business and they have all of their money go into their personal account, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it makes it difficult when you go to prepare your tax return. And if you're ever audited and you have to provide a business bank statement, well, if your business and your personal is what they call the legal term for that is commingling of funds. When you have your money from your business going to your personal account, that is commingling of funds. Because if you own a business, you can get thank you, Charles, welcome. You can get what is called an EIN, employee identification number. It's like a social security number for your business. And that it gives you leverage like business credit, which is why you see people who can purchase cars and homes and other assets in their business name and it not be attached to their personal credit. So you get an EIN. An EIN is free. You go to irs.gov, you complete the application online, and they immediately give you that number. You take that EIN. Let me back up. So these are the numbers. The EIN is the one number you have for your business. As a tax preparer, the question that I'm asked often is, do you have to be certified? I am not certified. I have a degree. With getting my degree, and you do not have to be degreed, let me also say that, but with getting my degree, one of the classes I had to take was a finance class, and that finance class, we had to prepare a tax return with pencil and paper. So yes, I do know how to prepare a tax return by hand. No, I will not do it. The margin of error is too great. Tax prep is data entry. I rely on the software that has all the formulas and information downloaded from the IRS because every year the Congress, they come out with new regulations and legislation that deals with preparing taxes. My brain is not going to process that. I'm not willing to put myself under that kind of pressure. And so the software, those companies take on the responsibility of downloading that. So all I have to do is put in the numbers, ask the right questions based on the information that the taxpayer provides me, and I prepare the return. So you get an EIN for your business. I also have what is called an EFIN, an electronic filer identification number, which means that I can legally electronically file taxes with the IRS. I also have a PTIN, which is another number that, and it's a preparer. I'm not sure what the T stands for, identification number. But that also, the IRS recognizes me as an authorized provider for them. If for some reason I have a client that gets audited, and I have had one that has gotten audited, and they give their return to the IRS will know that I prepared this return, one, because I submitted it electronically through my software, but also because my EFIN or my PTIN or my EIN for my business is attached to this return. That's accountability. So, but back to those of us who are not running a tax business. So the first thing I recommend my taxpayers do, or my clients, is to form as an LLC. The reason I say that is because we live in a litigious country, which basically means that people are suing companies like McDonald's because they burnt their tongue on the coffee that they ordered. Now, unless you requested iced coffee, the coffee that you get in the drive-thru at McDonald's is going to be hot. But because of the country that we live in, and there are attorneys that can actually get this on the docket, people will sue McDonald's because they burnt their tongue on the hot coffee that they offered. Hence, now McDonald's has to put on their coffee cups hot. Don't know if you knew that. But so people will sue you. Right. If you own a business and you do not separate your personal and your business assets, they can sue you for your personal assets. If you own a home, they can sue you and take your home. They can put a lien against your home. You see this happen a lot of times with contractors. You do not pay them for the work. They'll put a contractor's lien on your property. And so once you pay that property off, or if you refinance it or you sell it, that contractor is going to get some of your proceeds because they have a lien on your property. Wow. So you want to form as an LLC or an S corp, some type of corporation, incorporated so that you are protected. That reduces the liability on you personally. Once you form as an LLC, that's when you go to irs.gov and you put in your name, so that you can get your EIN. Filing for an LLC is very simple. You basically want to make sure that the name that you want to use is available and that no one else is using it. You pay the Secretary of State because that is who is in charge of monitoring and maintaining LLCs. You pay them whatever their filing fee is. And usually within 24 to 48 hours, you can electronically download your documents, which are called articles of organization, and you are formed as an LLC. Yes, Charles. What about an S Corp? Same thing. You are filed as a corporation. Each state has different filing fees, excuse me, for whatever determination you decide you're going to be, LLC, S Corp, whatever the case may be. There are tax benefits and there are there are things that work for you and against you with both of those. It's just a matter of how you want to be formed, okay? So you file your LLC, you get your EIN. Now you can go to the bank and open up a business bank account. You open up that business bank account, you open up a whole nother world of credit. Okay. Couple of things to know about, and a lot of people don't realize that a lot of businesses go out of business because they're not compliant with the IRS. If you sell items and you charge sales tax, you have to file a sales tax return with the IRS, but also with the state revenue agency. You're paying two different entities, the federal government and the state government. So if you do not file those returns, you are not compliant. You could lose, and you could lose your designation as, whatever your company is filed as, because you did not meet your tax obligations. Mm-hmm. If you have people on payroll, you pay them, you take out taxes, you have to report that to the IRS. If you you're not on your payroll, but you're self-employed, there's a thing called self-employment tax, and you pay that just as if your employer were to take taxes out of your check. I am a W-2 employee for the state of South Carolina, but I also am self-employed. Charles said they kill him every time with the state IRS. Charles, you need to come talk to me, brother. Let me see if I can help you.
Not quarterly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Quarterly returns. So you have to know when you have to file your returns to maintain compliancy. Now, for most people, we file our tax returns between January 15th and April 15th. If for some reason you cannot file by April 15th, then you file an extension, which will give you until July 15th. If you cannot file then, you file another extension, which is usually the last one, that will give you until October 15th. But yes, pastors are considered self-employed, and there are things that you can write off. And I'm going to get to that, Reverend Courtney. Hey, Reverend sister, that's my girlfriend right there. Right. There are things that you can write off. And I know this very well, for one, because my daddy was a pastor, and I have clergy that I prepare their taxes. So, but when you file that extension, 9 times out of 10 people who file an extension, they don't want to prepare their taxes on time because they owe a liability. So the IRS expects you to send some type of payment with that. If you don't, it's okay. 9 times out of 10, the first extension is automatically granted. I've very seldom seen the second one rejected. Understand right now that the IRS is dealing with the same thing that every other company in America is. You need to write everything off. I know that's right, especially if you are bivocational. Reverend Collington, like a lot of pastors are. You work a W-2 job, but you also are clergy. Right. So, so what happens is that they very seldom reject that extension. Sorry. So what I was saying was that the IRS is facing the same problem that all businesses in America are facing right now. They don't have enough workers to handle the workload. So they are still processing 2019, 2020 returns. Now, because we had new things like the advanced earned income tax credit and the what do they call it? The economic income payments or the stimulus payments. They got the $750 and the $1,400, and then the earned income tax credit was $1,500, and all of those payments that you got throughout the year are going to affect your refund at the end of the year when you file your taxes. And there is a difference. One, the child tax credit for people with children. The other was for just about every American that fell under a certain income threshold. And so you have to know the difference between the two. Now, so don't worry. Your tax return is not, it's not on the top of the pile. You won't be the first person they see. Very seldom do tax returns get audited. But there are certain industries, what we call cash-based industries, that the IRS watches. Barbers, clergy, cosmetologists, bartenders, people who own their own business, that contractors where people can pay them in cash and there is no paper trail. You run the risk of getting audited. You also run the risk. There's a thing we call just under the radar. You want to stay under the radar. It does not logically make sense mathematically, and understand that taxes are not math. This is accounting and finance. Okay. So understand. Yeah, I want to connect you. I want to help you out, sister. I'm on your side. I'm not on the side of the IRS. I'm on your side. But understand that mathematically, it is not possible to live in a $300,000 home, drive an $80,000 vehicle, making $20,000 in income. There's something wrong with that picture. It does not make sense. The IRS says there is some money somewhere that you are not telling us about. Hey, Rem Kinley, Rem Dante, there's some money somewhere that you are not telling us about. Right. And by golly, we gonna find it. We gonna scrape through everything. And don't make us come to your house, because there have been audits where they will come to your property because they want to see your lifestyle. They want to see how you're living. Now, they probably don't do it as much anymore because of COVID, and also because, once again, they do not have the manpower to do that. But audits are still taking place. I just, because I get the notifications and whatnot that the IRS, hello, Reverend Rose, how are you? Good to see you. That the IRS is not sending out notifications about people's tax debts. That does not mean that you don't have one. Do not think that you are going to get away for 10, 15, 20 years. And I had a client I shared earlier when we were on the live that about 20 years ago, when I first got in this business, the man had not filed a tax return since 1977, y'all. And this was like 1998. So I told him, I said, sir, you have not filed a tax return almost as long as I've been living. Do not think that the IRS was not aware that this man was making money, because your employer, just like they report your income to you and tell you how much tax they took out at the end of the year, they report your income to the IRS. Because guess who else has to pay taxes and file a return? That business, that corporation. Okay. They are not getting in trouble for your $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year that they pay you. Okay. So, cover that basis. But with small businesses, they've got to be compliant. Now, Lord be a tax check, not the tax check. And y'all pay tithes on your tax check. Let me address that. That brings up an interesting point. I remember a couple of years ago, I was getting refunds, and I'm trying to be a good Christian. I'm paying my tithes, and some of us will pay our tithes 52 weeks out the year. But that one check that we get from the IRS, they ain't getting none of this money right here. I done paid tithes on this. The reality is, if you are tithing off of your gross, when you get your refund check, you do not need to tithe off of that. But if you are tithing off of your net, what you bring into your house, when you get your refund check, you tithe off of that. Okay? Now that we've said that, so let's talk about tithing. That is a contribution. The church is considered a charity. There are so many write-offs and so much money that taxpayers leave on the table. Okay? So much money. For those people, and Chastity and I were talking about this earlier, if you own a small business and you work out of your home and you have a dedicated space, you can write off some of your rent or mortgage. You can write off some of your utilities, your water, what you do, I'm going to tithe. I love the Lord. That's right now. You better. Jesus will keep you out of Uncle Sam's ear and out of his eye shot. So that's right. Now, don't misunderstand me. I am not saying not to tithe. Correct. It's for people who are technical and want to know how to tithe. It depends on if you tithe off the gross during the year or the net. That's where the difference is. I am not discouraging tithing. Thank you for saying that, Reverend Kinley, so I can clear that up. But there are so many write-offs that businesses, especially small business owners, are not aware of. No, sweet Rose, you cannot carry your dog on your taxes. Let me address, Lord, y'all just taking me all over the place. Okay. You can only claim people on your taxes. preferably your people, your children. Don't claim the church member children. Okay. I don't care what Sister Sarah said. Okay. The cap off for church donations is not just church donations, but charitable donations this year is $300. Okay. Charles said he's going to write off the whole house. Lord, I ain't doing none of y'all taxes because y'all trying to get in trouble. And I've been doing this 23 years. I got a good reputation. I'm going to maintain my integrity. I'm loving it though. I'm loving it. But so when you give a donation to Goodwill, they should give you a receipt so that you can take that receipt to your tax preparer, write that off. Reverend Collington, Reverend Courtney, you ask about things that clergy can write off as pastors. For instance, you do not wear your robe during the week. Now you can go out in your robe and wear it everywhere you go if you would like, but most of you all do not. Your clerical shirts, things of that nature, you can write off the dry cleaning bill because you have to take it to get clean. When you purchase a robe, that's considered a uniform for you, much like scrubs would be for a nurse or a smock would be for a cosmetologist. Those are tools. Your books that you purchase, your concordances and your interpreter's dictionary and things of those natures, those are things that as clergy, you can write off. Now, don't write off every Bible you have bought, okay? Because if you like my daddy built a bookshelf in his office that covered all 4 of the walls. You can't write off all the Bibles, but there are absolutely things, your mileage, okay? You go from your home to the church, from the church to the bereaved family's house, from the bereaved family's house to the funeral home. Those are business write-offs. But you have to keep records. I cannot emphasize this enough. I emphasize a couple things with my small business owners. One, form as an LLC. Get your EIN and open a business bank account. But keep you records. Simple solution. It's old school, y'all. And there's some free stuff y'all getting tonight because I charge for this. Okay? This free stuff. I don't mind, though, because there's a blessing in this. Get you an accordion file folder. Okay? They sell them at Office Depot. I don't know how much they cost. Get you an accordion file folder with the months, January through December. Then you want to get you 4 mailing envelopes, okay? 1 for each month. There are 52 weeks in the year. AMB miles is 5,000. You know what? I need all the AMB folks to get off tonight, especially the pastors, because y'all, I'm trying to help the people. Y'all know I'm a cut up. Why are y'all trying me tonight? Anyway, get your accordion file folder, get your 4 envelopes. The purpose of those 4 envelopes is so that you can keep your receipts. You can keep your receipts. And so at the end of the month, you have your receipts. Create you a spreadsheet, okay? So that you can put your numbers in, because a lot of people don't realize we spent it. It's about execution and concept and execution, okay? So in concept, I feel like I'm making $100,000 a year. Because I swear by God, I'm spending 90,000 of it on shoes and clothes and trips and food. But the execution on paper, you may only be making 30, 40,000. Oh, wow. And you're spending way more. You got way more going out than you've got coming in. But if you see it on paper, you can then look and see, where do I cut this out? One of my clients owns a moving company. Just started. He's been in business a year. He's got guys that work for him. So he feeds his guys because he can write those meals off. And I told him, I said, you need to set a budget. You're going to eat $25 a day, $50 a day, whatever, because you could spend $1,000 in food in a week if you're not careful. Right. If you got 2 or 3 jobs during the day, you know? So you got your accordion folder. You got your 4 envelopes. You put your, at the end of the year, you should have a minimum of 48 envelopes. You put your receipts in there. You keep up with your receipts for your food, your gas. You get a car repair. You got it. You flat tire. You got to repair that. You can write that off. You got to put an alternator or a starter in your car. You can write that off. Oh, wow. Your car, when it's time to do your taxes, for instance, I drive a 2015 Toyota RAV4, has 160 something thousand miles on it. I need to know how many of those miles were just commuting miles, me going back and forth to work, running around town, running errands, and how many of those miles may count toward me going to meet with a client. because I can write that off. Oil changes, write that off. And there's a cap on it now. All I do is put the number in and the software calculates it. And they know what the cap is. Depreciation, your equipment, your laptops, everybody's got these lights now. The lights that you use when you're doing broadcasts like this for lighting, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. All of those are equipment and supplies that you use if you pay somebody to do your flyers, if you buy business cards, your shirts, all of your promotional and marketing stuff. You're saying, yep, you didn't know, did you? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Stop letting these folks do stuff for you on the hookup all the time. Pay for that stuff, baby, and write it off at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Your cell phone. If you use your cell phone, portion of that, you can write that stuff out. Stop leaving this money on the table.
Right.
If you make improvements to your home, solar panels are the new thing now. If you do an energy efficient HVAC unit, those are energy efficient improvements that they give you credit for, that you can write off. And the thing with things like cars and the computers and things like that, they depreciate over amount of time. Yes, the question is, can bank statements substitute receipts if everything is paid for by debit or credit cards? Yes, they can. I addressed this earlier. If you, and I know for clergy, it's a little different and it's a little hard, but if you own a business, you want to open up a business bank account because it is illegal to commingle funds. Basically, what that says is that your personal and your business finances are together. It is illegal. Okay. It mostly applies to like CEOs for big corporations. They can't have the business money going into their personal account. You see what I'm saying? They're commingling funds. It's illegal. We mostly hear about laundering and embezzlement and stuff like that, but that goes along with those. And those are white collar crimes. Y'all hear me? You will serve federal time for those. Martha Stewart, think of that. Okay. Enron, think of that. So you can use your bank statements, but I have a client that made $80,000 last year. Imagine the nightmare for me to go through her bank statement and pull out every transaction that was strictly business. Strictly business. It was a long, tedious process. I did it, but when the IRS comes in, I have a client that got audited. She did not have a separate business banking account. So when she submitted her bank statements, the auditor basically told her it's too hard to differentiate what's your personal or what's your W-2 employee and what's your business. So they couldn't use it. So they make the adjustment on the return. Okay. Let's see, what else can I share with you? What else y'all want to know? What else y'all want to know? You got your write-offs. Another question I mentioned earlier that people have asked me, do you have to be certified? No, you do not. There are certain people that the IRS recognizes, not just taxpayers. One is an enrolled agent, which is someone who a lot of them end up working for the IRS. They become auditors, but it's a very rigorous process to go through. I plan on doing that. I had the opportunity to do it 20 something years ago. I failed the test. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard. It's very, very hard, very expensive. They say it's harder than the CPA exam, but you can become an enrolled agent. You can become a CPA. Reverend Kinley has asked the question, how can I get a check? Lord have mercy. I think your freedom is more important than getting that little one check a year. But let's talk about that. Filing statuses. I have had people come to me and say, last year I filed single and head of household. That is not possible. There are 5 categories for filing status. Single, which means you have no dependents. It's just you. Head of household, which means you have one dependent. A dependent can be a child, can be a relative, and it doesn't have to be your biological child, but if you are taking care of a niece or nephew where you provide more than 50% of care for them, or they live in your house 12 months of the year, they qualify. And if you have the documentation to back it up, it could be a loved one that it could be a loved one like an elderly parent or a disabled relative that may qualify you for head of household. There's certain things that they look at, like the age of a person. That's why they ask for the birthday. If the person is disabled, if they're blind, if it's a college student. I claimed my daughter all the way up until the time she got married, even though she was 23 at that time, but she was a college student. So I could still claim her. So you have single, head of household, married filing joint, which is for couples, husband and wife. And then you have married filing separate, which if for some reason, let's say one spouse has a liability. I mentioned this earlier, and I see I got some people on here, so I'm going to ask my question again. There are things in place that the law has allowed to help people when they get in trouble with their finances. Your credit's messed up, or you've just overextended yourself, you've lost your job, and we've seen that happen a lot with COVID. You can do a debt consolidation, or you can file a bankruptcy. There's Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Not quite sure of the differences. I know that one allows you to keep property, other has to surrender everything. But with the bankruptcy, there are 3 liabilities that do not get discharged. Can anyone tell me what those liabilities are? You can type it in the comments or type it in the chat. I'm gonna come back to that. And so, but let's say one of the spouses has a liability that they are obligated to pay, that the IRS may take your refund, then the couple can file married filing separate. And then there is one of a qualifying widower. And that basically means that at some point in time during the year, your spouse has passed away before December 31st, and you need to file the final return for them and their tax purposes and yourself. Now, so I asked the question. Obviously, y'all got all the answers, but y'all ain't got the answer to that. Where my friend Charles? I know Charles probably know. The 3 liabilities that are not discharged during a bankruptcy are child support. That is a government secured debt. You will have to pay that back. They may cut you some slack, work out a payment arrangement with you where they will allow you to only pay a portion of the child support, but they will not completely discharge the debt. You will pay that. Student loans cannot even be included in a bankruptcy. That is a government secured debt. The U.S. Department of Education secures the funding for student loans. They will not allow you to discharge that during a bankruptcy. And finally, tax debt. That is a government secured debt. They will not allow you to have that discharge in a bankruptcy. They may once again work with you, allow you some slack, may allow you to only pay a portion of it back, but you will pay it back. Any of those debts can cause your tax refund to be offset or to offset that debt. So if you owe child support and you file a tax return and you get a refund, government can take it, baby mama gonna get it. How about that? Or baby daddy. There's some women that pay child support. Okay, right. That's what happened. Student loans. If your student loans go into default, not a deferment, not a forbearance, but you have not communicated with your loan provider, you have not made any payments. If for some reason that happens, the IRS can take your refund. You need to lower the student loan liquid. You know what, Reverend Kinley, the benediction is being said, or you're just you have been excused from the conference. You do not have to answer the roll anymore tonight. That's an AME insider joke. But if you owe student loans, the IRS can take your refund and offset that debt. Please understand, 9 times out of 10, once the IRS starts taking your refund, they continue to take your refund until that debt is paid. Now, if for some reason you have a debt with the IRS or even the state revenue agency, and you do not make a payment arrangement with them, I cannot emphasize the importance of communication with these agencies. They want to talk to you. Don't get on the phone and talk about her ain't here. She moved. She dead. She don't live here no more. Don't call this phone no more. She changed the number. Please don't try that. There is a 9-digit number that was associated with you when you were born, that your mother filled out that birth certificate and they assigned it to you, called a social security number. Your social security number tracks you for all of your life, and even after you die, if you are involved in certain industries like the military and a state entity, it follows you for life. My mother is still associated with my father's social security number. My father has been dead 2.5 years. His social security number is still relevant because of his social security number. That is how my mother gets her benefits. Okay, so your social security number tracks you. Don't tell them people when they call your phone, that cell phone, that this ain't her number no more, because they know you lying. And what's going to happen is they're going to get tired of calling you, and they say, oh, you think I'm playing? Well, you better call Tyrone, because he's going to need to help you pay off this debt. And what the IRS will do, they will garnish your wages, or they will put a levy on your bank account. Once the IRS puts a levy on your bank account, that locks up your funds. There is nothing the bank can do. There is nothing you can say. And the IRS is going to keep your funds locked up until you pay them. Do not get slick and try to open up another bank account. Once again, that 9-digit identifier, the social security number, is attached to your bank account. They will find that and levy that also. Are we clear, church? Do we have an understanding?
Understand it, right? That's crazy.
Folks play. Yeah, folks play. But if you communicate with them, they'll put you on a payment plan, and you meet the obligation. If for some reason you can't, something comes up, once again, communicate that with them. The IRS is not to be played with, okay? And you may go for a couple of years and they don't bother you, and then you go into work. And let me tell you, excuse me, when they garnish your wages, they don't send you the letter that they're going to garnish your wages. They send your employer the letter. Trident Tech will get a letter. Their human resources payroll will get a letter saying, you are mandated to send us this amount of money out of this person's check or the whole check. And over the years, the laws have changed, so they have to leave you something, but it ain't much because you already ain't making that much money in the first place. So they're going to get the taxes they taking out your check, right, and whatever else they tell your employer that they have to get. So be compliant. Be compliant. Be compliant. Let's see. What else can I tell you?
Question. For our businesses who don't have a LLC or EIN number, what's your recommendation for that? Because I know some businesses can't afford it yet, or some people just haven't found somebody that can actually assist them with it correctly.
Right.
Like, what's your intake on that?
Everything nowadays is electronic. So if you go on, for instance, the state of, and the LLC is that's state. That's state. That is strictly state. That is not the IRS. So if you go on your Secretary of State website, and I believe most of us are in the state of South Carolina, and it'll say LLC formation or LLC filing, and the first thing they ask you for is the name that you want to use. Okay. And I think I said this to you earlier. You cannot not afford to form as an LLC. Invest in your business, invest in yourself, and protect yourself. It's kind of like life insurance. Let me tell you something. When you get that call from the coroner that person is taking that last breath, you can no longer insure them. You have now set yourself up for a debt. GoFundMe is not insurance. It is embarrassing for our people to spend money or have to have GoFundMe when we spend $200 on shoes, $300 on hair, $500 on nails, whatever. We will spend $1,000 to go to the No Limit tour concert, but we will not spend the money to have insurance. To bury a person, speaking from experience, it was $10,000 to bury my father. The gloves that you wear as a pallbearer are $6 a pop. You need 6 men minimum to carry a coffin. That is $72. What do you do with the gloves after you put the coffin down? When they get ready to lower the body, you throw the gloves into the ground. All of your money is going in the ground. All of it. Get life insurance. So for the LLC, if nothing else, get that EIN. The only problem you will have if you get the EIN before you have the business name that you want to operate under is that you'll have to go and change your name with the IRS so that the correct name is associated with the EIN. It's $125, $150. If you got somebody that says they're willing to sow into your business, ask them to give you that so that you can spend that money and form for that LLC. Like I said, $125, $150. It's worth it. Or save for it. Say, okay, my next check, whatever, get a little extra money, set it to the side. I'm going to go ahead and get me form as an LLC. So I would not recommend operating a business, especially a business that may provide a service. For instance, if you're a cosmetology and you own a salon and someone comes in, you're dealing with chemicals. You put a relaxer on somebody's hair and you didn't realize that they had an allergy to the products and their scalp burn. That's a chemical burn. You may damage the person's scalp so much that their hair never grows back. They could sue you. And if you're not formed as some type of corporation, they're not suing, ChatZ's Coupures, LLC, they're suing ChatZ.
Exactly.
You could lose everything, everything. But if nothing else, get that EIN, because that EIN gives you the leverage, like I said, once again, to open up a business bank account and have business credit. Most banks, once you open up a business bank account and they see some type of income coming in, within 6 months, they'll offer you a credit card. Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about something that's really interesting. And, we got to listen to our brothers and sisters of the other persuasion, because they've been playing the game for years and they play it well. Okay. So one of them told me, Chaz, let's say you and I go out to lunch. I come to Columbia and I call you. I say, hey, girl, I want to take you out to lunch. Okay, fine. So we go out to lunch and you ask me the question you just asked me. And I answer that question. Guess what? That just became a business lunch for me. I'm paying for your lunch and I'm writing you off at the end of the year. If I hand somebody a business card, that becomes a business lunch for me. I'm writing it off at the end of the year. You keep up with stuff like that. So, like I said, there's a lot of money that people are leaving on the table that they don't have to. Student loans. Let's go back to student loans. So, all of us, I think, on this call got some student loans. If you went to seminary, you don't have student loans. Oh, you're so blessed. You're so blessed. But if you have student loans, at the end of the year, you get the 1098T. And that is what we use to claim your interest. And those are deductions. You might not necessarily see it. So you can't think that, well, if I have $10,000 in deductions, then I'm gonna get $10,000 back from the IRS. That's not how it works. I can't tell you exactly what the formula is. It's too much for me to remember. But I know that when I put that in there, there's a lifetime learning credit or a hope credit that they give you. And some states even give you a credit for your tuition expenses that you paid. If you paid for, because we know financial aid doesn't always cover all the expenses of school. Right. You may have books that you had to purchase and technology fees and things like that. You can write those things off. You get, it goes on the 1098T. You fill out that form, it creates a schedule, and you get that as a deduction. Medical expenses, you have insurance, but let's say for some reason, I remember one time my dad was a heart patient. He had heart surgery. My mother had insurance. My mother was a teacher. She was a state employee, so she had good insurance. They got a bill for $10,000, heart surgery. Now imagine if my mom did not have the money and they had to pay for that out of pocket. Mm-hmm. So you cannot write off what your employer, like I have Blue Cross and Blue Shield with the state. So of course I pay a premium every month and then my employer matches it. I can't write that off. But if I go to the dentist and I have to pay out of pocket, I can put that on there. That's a medical expense. Your tithes, those are charitable contributions. How many of you know that you can deduct the taxes that you pay on your vehicle? Some states don't have vehicle tax. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. We pay taxes and registration fees here in South Carolina. Yes, ma'am. You keep up with that receipt. You put those numbers in there. Mm-hmm. Yes, you write those off. Now, there's something that they do. I've seen it with 2 states at least. I know here in South Carolina and also the IRS. Is a question they ask you. Yes, say what, Reverend Kinley? You pay your taxes on your car. You hold on to your tax bill. When you're preparing your returns, when I'm preparing your returns, and it gives me the deductions and whatnot, I put that in there, just like your mortgage interest and your taxes you pay on your mortgage, your property. Yes, taxes. Yes, because they give you credit for already paying those things. See what I'm saying? I lost my train of thought. I forgot where I was going with that before that. Oh, no, I don't. So in the state of South Carolina and with the IRS, there is a question that they ask: are you a K through 12 educator? We know that them little checks that they're giving some people, I think the state of South Carolina is $275. Some states do it by state. Some school districts do it by the district. So it depends. But $275 is really not a whole lot of money when you're looking at buying supplies to supply a classroom where you have anywhere from 120 to 180 students that may pass through it during the day. So let me get back to that. So what they allow you to do is, anything that you bought out of pocket that the school district did not reimburse you from. Let's say you buy a printer for your classroom that you're using. You can write that off. You can include that expense. Your paper, your pencils. Now I would even say I believe I saw the other day hand sanitizer, the Clorox wipes, things that we had, the PPE. Teachers can write that off also. Now, how far back can you go for deductions that are utilized? Ideal scenario is that any deduction from 2021 goes on the 2021 tax return. We prepare a year in the hole. So this is calendar year 2022. We are preparing taxes for calendar year 2021 because you've been paid for a full year, those taxes. Do me a favor, Chassie, write this date down, December 31st, so I can remember to come back to that. You've been paid a full year, though, and those taxes have come out. So if for some reason, though, you did not itemize, you have up to 3 years to do what they call an amended return. It's a 1040X. So for this year, you could do 2021, 2020, and 2019. Okay. And let me back up. I think you can also do 2018 because it's the year before. So we're just doing 2021 now. So from 2018 to 2021, you can amend that return and make those adjustments. Now, I mentioned December 31st. The thing about December 31st is, let's say I'm pregnant. I'm not, but let's say I am. And my baby is born on December 31st. Guess who now has a dependent for the whole entire year?
You.
That's right. Let's say you get married on December 31st. Guess who can file married filing joint for the whole entire year?
You.
If it was relevant and valid on December 31st, it counts for the year. Does that make sense? So, yep.
Definitely. Wow.
Yep. So you can go back 3 years and amend a return. Record keeping. Record keeping, Lord Jesus. Reverend, don't be out there just spreading your seed recklessly now, Jesus. Record keeping. Depending on the type of business you own, 3, 5, 7, or 10 years. 3, 5, 7, or 10 years. Small business owner, they have QuickBooks. And I've used those softwares before. I have some clients that want me to just manage their QuickBooks for them. The thing about QuickBooks is that QuickBooks will allow you to import and export your banking information. So it communicates with the bank directly. So that stuff gets downloaded at the end of the year. You take your flash drive to your accountant or tax preparer, or you give them access to get into your QuickBooks and they can pull out your information, easy peasy tax returns. But and QuickBooks can personalize your accounting for your industry. If you're a contractor, if you're a plumber, if you're a cosmetologist, whatever your industry may be, when you're looking at purchasing that software, it'll ask you some questions to determine the best QuickBooks for you and the different types of supports that come with that. But for those who do not want to be that complex or cannot afford that expense, then something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. On the bottom of the sheet, you got the month of February, and you have certain bills that you pay every month. You got your cell phone bill, your car insurance, if you got a brick and mortar, your rent for your building, you got payroll, things of that nature. You put those on that spreadsheet, and of course, it adds it up. You auto sum it, calculates it at the end of the year, makes it a whole lot easier for you. But it also gives you the opportunity to see your monthly income and expenses, what you're spending compared to what you're making. Inventory, you got to keep up with inventory. If you bought 100 shirts and you paid, let's say you paid $2,000 for the shirts and you only sold 60 of them, well, you're taking a loss. You put those numbers in there. So things like that. Y'all have any other questions for me? Was I able to help somebody?
Right.
Because this is, of course, I make money off of it. But this is ministry for me because I'm providing information that people don't know. And this is the type of information that they don't know could get them in trouble.
Right.
Can we say Wesley Snipes? Wesley Snipes went to jail for taxes. He went to jail for taxes. Yeah. And I can't remember whether it was tax evasion, which basically means he wasn't filing his tax returns and wasn't paying them, or whether his returns were erroneously or improperly prepared. And the accountant or the CPA was like, I don't know. But I know Wesley went to jail for 6-7 years behind it. And there are others that have gone to jail for not taking care of their taxes. There have been people that have had to file bankruptcy because they did not file their taxes. When you talk about getting into 30, 40, 50, $60,000 worth of tax debt, and there is no way to pay that off, yeah, you file bankruptcy. But it doesn't get rid of it. But like I say, it may give you some leverage and protection, because while you're in bankruptcy, they cannot collect. But that doesn't mean when you come out that liability won't still be there if they did not cut you some slack and allow you to, they gave you a little discount on it and whatnot. But so it is a ministry for me. Somebody said to me one day, "You must like math." Taxes is not math. It is accounting and finance. Accounting is not math. Yes, there are numbers involved, but it's not cut and dry math. And so, but it's more so I love providing the help to our people,
right,
especially young business owners. And I'm a small business owner, but I got a little bit more skin in the game, as they say. I've been doing taxes, Chastity, almost as long as you've been living. So
right.
I know a thing or two. So, and when I'm giving that information, I like to share it with others. They say our people perish for a lack of knowledge. Well, if it is on my watch, I will do all I can to make sure that people have accurate and correct information to help them. I'll be the first to say if I don't know, because if I give you the wrong information and you run with that information and you mess yourself up, then I'm held liable, if nothing else, in my spirit. Because I may never know, you may never say anything, but I'm held liable for that. So there are a couple other things with being a tax preparer with the IRS. I have to stay compliant. So that means I have to file my taxes every year. And hello, Isis, welcome. Oh, you're beautiful. Thank you for jumping on. I have to file my taxes every year and make sure that if I owe, that I pay that money. If I'm getting a refund, of course, that I do that. Addressing this earned income tax credit and the stimulus payments or the economic income payments that a lot of people received. There is a question. You will get letters about that. Y'all open your mail and read it. Don't just look at the envelope and say it looked like junk mail and throw it in the garbage, because a lot of times the IRS, they're not sending them in envelopes that necessarily says IRS on it.
Right.
Sometimes they do. It says Department of Treasury, whatnot. But if you don't take time to read it and you throw away a document that you need to prepare your return. And so those people who received those payments, some of them received letters stating what the payment was, stating what it was. Okay. Right. When you get that letter, you take that with you to your tax preparer so that they can see whether it was the earned income tax credit or whether it was the economic income payment or the stimulus payment. They were different amounts. They serve different purposes. There are different percentages and leverages that go along with that. But also understand that, let's say you're getting a refund for $1,487. And they ask that question, did you receive the economic income payments, at least two? And you click yes, and that payment was $1,400. You're now getting an $87 refund because they've already given you an advance of that $1,400. That makes sense?
Right.
I've had a couple clients that have been shocked. They be like, "Oh, I'm getting it." No, not so fast, baby. I got a question to ask you. Did you get that letter? Did you get that payment? And it's simply, someone say, "I don't know." Well, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go back and look at your bank statement between January and May, because that's kind of when those payments went out, and look and see if you got a payment for $1,400 or $700 from the Department of Treasury. Not going to say IRS, it's going to say Department of Treasury. If that's the case, you got that money. Do not double dip. Do not try to claim it and then go and say, "Well, I didn't know," because the IRS knows. And they may not catch you now, but if they catch you later, you're going to end up giving them their money back. You don't want to do that. Isis, do you have any questions? Any concerns?
That's actually Charles's wife.
That's what I figured. Where Charles? I had a question. I knew Charles would know the answer, and Charles done jumped ship. He done left us. I guess he run around the house now trying to figure out what he can claim, probably taking pictures of everything and price tags on everything. I said, don't let that man put price tags on everything in your house tonight. Now you can't claim everything.
Well, they actually do Airbnb, so he has multiple businesses. Both of them,
Rental properties. Yes,
yes,
yes. Rental properties. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
they have multiple businesses together.
Yeah. So you know with that, there are lots of write-offs, lots of write-off. The taxes they pay on all those properties and the mortgage interest and anything that they use, if they use a property management company to help them manage those Airbnbs or any other rental properties they may have. Um, somebody move out.
She
You
come up with
play
yes, Airbnb too.
Yes, if you pay a cleaning company to come in and clean that property after someone moves out, that's an expense. If you are listed, like I know Airbnb is an actual brand, but there are other companies now that I'm sure are putting those properties on. You can go on hotels.com and get like a condo for a week, same condo. But if you have to pay to have your property listed, that's an expense. Any marketing, you know what? Charles, what you're not finna do is coming here for my sister like that. She been listening. You the one that left to go put price tags on everything in the house. I know that's what you was doing. So yes, any expense that's associated with the business, and I tell people, ask. No, Lord have mercy. She's trying to run off her husband. Girl, sound like you need to get on another live with me about relationships. We can't write off the husband's child. No, we can't write off the husband. And sometimes we want to write them off and we ain't talking about taxes. How about that? Can we just keep it real? Woman to woman, as the song say, wife to wife.
Oh gosh.
But
I
I
know
tell
you going
people,
off in that house.
I tell
I
people,
know she didn't.
write it down, keep your records, take it to the taxpayer. If we can't use it, we won't use it and we'll tell you. But if we don't have it, we can't use it.
Right.
We can't use it. So yes, if you pay cleaners, absolutely. Absolutely. Lawn care, because that's for the maintenance of the property. Any upgrades you do, stuff like that, repairs, yes, you want to look at writing that stuff off. Now, I will tell you, this is my shameless plug for my own personal business. It is C Homes and Associates. Now, y'all gonna fuss at me. Don't give me side eye. Don't look at me crazy. I have not formed as an LLC yet in the state of South Carolina. The reason being is because I'm already another LLC, but just to be honest, the initials for that LLC were my ex-husband's last name, and I'm not doing that. So that LLC still, it's still recognized by the state. It's still in good standing, but I'm not operating under that business. So the current business name is C Homes and Associates. I do have a Facebook page. And something that works really well for me, and I think is a great service to my clients, when you go to H&R Block, when you go to Jackson Hewitt, Liberty Tax, places that have that corporate behind them, that y'all think my husband's, no, I know my husband's snoring. Okay. Anyway, places that the big box stores is what I call them, they charge a fluctuating fee based on the number of schedules you have. Like when you own a business and you're a 1099, it's a Schedule C. That's one schedule. If you have, the tuition, that's another schedule. The mortgage interest, that's another schedule. Depending on how many W-2s you're bringing, how many dependents you have, they factor all those in. And every time that information goes into the software, it generates a number. That's why people end up paying fees of like $700 to $800 to get their tax returns prepared. I do not do that. I have a flat rate. I don't think I want to necessarily disclose it here on this live because there are some circumstances that I work with people, but I do have a flat rate for my strictly W-2 with dependents and all the write-off tax clients, but I also have a flat rate for my business clients. So if you come to me and you do own a business, then that is a flat rate also. I disclose that rate up front. For my monthly clients that I do their taxes at the end of the year, of course, they get a discount because I have all their documentation. I've been maintaining their business for them for the year. So I don't have to worry about them gathering stuff and bring it to me. And there are some things as we get into the tax prep that I notice and I'm like, hey, are you sure about this? Or get this to me, or I don't have this, and then I request that from them, and then we use that to prepare the returns. But um, I pride myself on my integrity. I pride myself on the service that I provide my customers. I don't mind answering questions. There are some scenarios that may be above my pay grade. And even though I've been doing this 23 years and I'm pretty well versed in this, with the changes in the legislation and the way things happen. Yes, Dante, I do pastor taxes. I do clergy taxes. I certainly do. Um, so and with that being said, I mentioned earlier on the last live when we kind of got we had to start over. I do not offer the refund anticipation loan products. There's a certain type of clientele that I cater to. There's nothing wrong with clients who get those. Please do not misunderstand me, but that is just not what I offer, because there's a lot of liability in that. There's certain insurances and things that you have to have that right now financially I am not equipped to offer that, and so I do not offer those services. That being said, I do not get my fees out of your refund if you're getting one. So my clients have to pay my fees up front. I do work with them on the price. You do not have to pay the full fee up front. You pay half upon the beginning of the preparation, and then you pay the balance. It has to be paid before the return is prepared, before it's electronically filed. So, and I do work with people like that, because I know that can be quite an expense. But get this, y'all. If y'all pay me to do y'all taxes this year, guess what y'all get to write off next year? Because that is a legal and professional service. Yes, yes, yes. So, but I do charge a flat fee that I disclose to my clients. And like I said, if it's something that's above my pay grade, I do have a cousin that is a CPA that graduated from Penn State, that I can use him as a resource. So I reach out to him and we work together. He helps me with some things. I do not rush to prepare a return. And what I mean when I say that is, some people, they give you their paperwork today and they want their return done tomorrow. I work full time. I'm in school full time. I'm a full time wife and mother and a daughter. I am taking care of my 80-year-old mother, who is a widow, had never lived by herself before October 13th, 2019, when my father had a massive heart attack and died. And so Saturday is usually the day that I dedicate to doing my clients. And how I operate, just so you have some idea, basically everything is virtual. I send you my client questionnaire. You fill that out. You send that back with your documents, your W-2s, your copy of your license. I don't necessarily ask for the Social Security card. I do ask to see it, but you do not necessarily have to send it to me. Now, if they're dependents, I do ask for that, because there's a due diligence steps that I have to take and questions I have to ask to ensure that that minor or that dependent lives with you and you can claim them. But you send that back to me via the email, or you can put it in a Dropbox or on Drive or whatever. And then I prepare the return, and then we schedule a Zoom. I share the screen. You see your returns, or you can check for accuracy, because that's another set of eyes. This is your information. So I want you to make sure that I put your numbers in right. Or sometimes if you send me something, of course, it's coming electronically, it may not come across as clearly. An A3 could look like an 8 or A5. And so we want to make, and there's a big difference between 35,000 and 85,000 or 55,000. And so we want to make sure those numbers are correct after we schedule that Zoom. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3. Sometimes it just takes 1. Most of the time it takes at least 2, though, because I want to look at it more than one time. And then we electronically provide your return, and you get the message saying that you're accepted or rejected. If for some reason you're rejected, and that does happen sometimes, a Social Security number or something like that, then we go in and fix it. I don't abandon you in the process. Oh, well, it didn't go through the first time, baby. I don't know what to tell you. I don't charge you more, because that's all part of the tax return, the tax preparation process. If you get audited for some reason and you need my support, I'll walk with you through the process, because I have been the person to help people get that resolution and to know what they're looking for. So yeah, document, write it down so you can get your write-offs, get that EIN form as the LLC. Let's see, we have a question. I'm not sure if you answered this question already, but for anyone who may do freelancing services, what type of documents or forms do you need from them in order to file? Let me ask you to be more specific in the services that you're talking about.
I have a quick question while we're waiting on that. So say for example, somebody say, like, how we use TurboTax and Tax Act X, Y, and Z. Say for example, your taxes are approved, accepted, or whatever, and say you forgot to do a W-2 to send in, or you forgot to say, for example, like with the stimulus thing you were saying, or the
Right.
economic thing, say you got the letter after you end up
File
doing,
the taxes. Right. Hmm.
how would you go back in to fix that? Is there any way to fix it, or
Hmm.
you have to wait?
That's an amendment. That's an amendment. So
Okay.
you go in and you basically, and all of these software programs have an option to amend a tax return. So
Mm-hmm.
you go in and you put in the new information. Let's say you had to add a W 2. You just
Mm-hmm.
go in and add the W 2, and then it'll redo the calculations, and then you can file it.
Okay.
You can always go back and amend.
Okay.
It's not preferable, and that's why I tell my clients sometimes, I know people see the IRS taking returns on the 24th of January, child, and they want their return in there on the 23rd. But it's good to wait sometimes. It is worth it to wait. Door dashing. Okay, so with the door dashing, I actually have a client that I worked on her taxes on Saturday. And so DoorDash, if you made a certain amount of money, should have sent you a statement. And on that statement, they had how many miles you drove, they had the amount that you got paid, but they also had the expenses. And so, like, there's an airport fee, I think, that you pay. There's a fee that you pay for being listed with DoorDash. Oh no, she was an Uber. I'm sorry, she was an Uber. She was an Uber. But those companies, when you make over a certain amount, they send you a breakdown of what you made and what your expenses are. But if you do not get that, for instance, you said you offer resume services also on Fiverr. I'm assuming that's how that's pronounced. So if you have to pay a membership or pay something to be on Fiverr's website, if it's monthly, if it's annually, you can write that off. Your paper that you purchase, if you print out the resumes for people, if there's a certain resume writing software that you use and you purchase that and you have to update it every year, you can write that off. I know there's like services like Zoom and whatnot. Some of those services, depending on the complexity of what you want to do, you have to pay for them. Like if you want it to be longer than an hour, if you want to host more than a certain amount of people, you have to pay for it. Your website, even on Facebook, if you have a Facebook page, like say for instance, if I boost a post and Facebook charged me $25, that's marketing. I get to write that off. So any expense that you use in the operation of your business, you can write off just about. And some of them have thresholds. Like for instance, with the business meals that I mentioned earlier, like the DOT, the Department of Transportation, they regulate those meals differently for like over the road drivers than they do if I was just putting in a business meal. Like say ChatZ and I went out to eat and I paid for her meal. There's a 50% threshold on that. So yes, yes. Um, and you all got a lot, like I said, you all got a lot of freebies tonight. In the past, I have not charged for my consultations. I don't think I'm going to do that this year, but I believe next year, because I'm still growing and learning some things too that I want to do differently. So in the future, I will, but for the most part now, because this is my intellectual property.
Right.
And so, but I don't mind sharing. I don't mind sharing. Yes. Yes. And I hope Reverend Kinley heard me about doing clergy taxes. Yes, I do. And my goal is I tell people I will not promise you a refund, but I will promise you an accurately prepared return. I will promise you that I will try to maximize your deductions as much as possible. So I'm going to ask like, you got this, you got that, you got this. And there's some things I might not ask about because I'm like, nobody has this stuff for these credits. States offer different credits that the IRS doesn't offer. Like there's a volunteer credit for the state of South Carolina. I don't know what you got to do to get it, but it asked that question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So yeah.
great.
Any other questions for me?
If y'all have any questions, make sure y'all send them in or forever hold your peace.
And you can
This is
always reach out
actually
to me on Facebook.
right.
Like I said, C Homes and Associates. Yes.
Yeah, so if y'all have any questions, y'all can either message her on Facebook, um, at C Homes and Associates. I think I said that correctly.
Yes.
Um, this is some really good information. I actually had my notes jot down. We already had the conversation about the LLC this week. I'm gonna message you when you get off. You don't
Okay.
have to do it tonight, but with about the EIN and stuff, get
Okay.
that situation started, and try to make some moves for 2022, because Chats with Chats has been in business. May will make 2 years, so I want to make sure that before May gets here, that everything that I need to have in play is in play.
Right.
Um, because I feel like, and I know, speaking into existence, that some things might shift, with Chaz, some things might better, and I need to make sure I'm protecting myself and also
Right.
my name. Yeah, a lot of
Right.
people don't know nobody
Absolutely.
before Chaz. Listen, when I go on YouTube, it's like somebody named Chats with Chase or Chats with something. It's so close to the fact that you have to protect
Right.
yourself.
I had a girlfriend, just to give you an example. I had a girlfriend, they had a band, and they had been performing under that band name for years. Well, there's another band by the same name out of DC. So they had to change their name a little bit so that it wouldn't be a conflict.
Right.
And if you don't mind me speaking to Reverend Kinley real quick, um, these are not things that our churches discuss or offer. And I wanted to get into the churches to provide this information, maybe not as extensive, um, but or maybe come one day, and if you have several members that want to get their taxes prepared or whatever the case may be, maybe I could do something like that. But if nothing else, to come in and provide that. And I'm not the type of person, I'm mad if you go to the big box stores, I'm mad if you go to someone else, because what God has for me truly is for me. And you may not do it with me this year, but you may do it with me next year, or you may tell a friend or something like that. So Reverend Kinley, if you'd like to get together, and maybe I could come one Saturday, or maybe one Sunday after church. Maybe we got fifth Sundays, those are light Sundays as we call them. We still want the word, but this is a form of ministry also, providing this information, because back in the day, our churches were where we went to get this information. And so if you want to partner, maybe ask some other pastors, I would be more than happy to come to Columbia and provide some information, answer questions for your members. And really, that's anybody that has an entity where they can gather groups of people and provide that information. I would be more than happy to come and do that. More than happy to come and do that.
Definitely.
So yeah, but you want to get compliant. I really emphasize that with my young business. And my thing is, start off right. Because once you mess up or you get messed up, it's hard to get back right. It's hard to get back right. Yeah. So yes.
So yeah, most definitely. I'll be talking to you throughout the week. But I want to thank you. This was a lot of great information. We got a lot of feedback on it. Definitely an appreciated thing. And it was so crazy that when you messaged me, I was saying in my head, I need to get somebody, but I couldn't put my finger on it quick enough. And so much with work now, working 5 days out the week, sometimes 6, and coming home and going straight to sleep, has been definitely an adjustment from working from home, because everybody know I was working from home almost for a year and a half. And your body gets to the point that it gets so adjusted to being home, and you do everything from home. Everything is so convenient when you're home.
Right. Thank you, Isis.
Move, once you get back out the house, it's like, okay, you got to get yourself back together. You got to go to bed on time.
Your schedule. Yes.
Right. So you got to reschedule your body to the norm of work. So it has been a crazy month. And then February has less days. And also I have other things, engagements coming up, and I wanted to make sure that everything that I was doing was in decency and order. I was gonna make sure that anybody I reach out to, that I'm always making sure that I give them the correct information, the date, the time, all that stuff, making sure that everything is confirmed. So I definitely appreciate you on that for working with me, because I did forget last week. I was like, oh my God.
Okay. That's okay. You got to be flexible. It's called grace. Yeah, you got to have it, and life happens. So you just kind of go with the flow. And I knew that God would make sure that the opportunity was available for this information to be provided. If I get one client out of this, great. If I don't get any clients out of it, that's fine too. But I provided information. And so I done what they done asked me to do. Like the old folks say, I done what they asked me to do.
Right. Like I said, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
Chaz definitely appreciate you. The information has been definitely, like I said, a lot. I've been talking, and Charles and Isis know me. I do a lot of business with both of them. But I've
Okay.
been trying to get stuff done, and I keep saying I'm gonna do it, and he be like, "You keep talking," and I'm like, "I'm coming," but I be so skeptical to be like, "Okay, is this the correct thing?" I know that he never leads me in the wrong direction whenever I do
Right.
things.
Right.
But it's just making sure that I'm doing it on the right time, making sure that everything I need is right there when I need it. Um,
And it's really about balance, and I
right,
tell people all the time, all money ain't good money. And that's not to
that's
say that
true.
his is not, but some people that's all they doing. They just, if it's the
Chasing
dollar,
people,
they chasing it, and it's like, no, you really have to align yourself with whatever that will is that God has for your life.
right,
And like you said, you got to focus. You got to set boundaries and have that balance. I can't take on 10,000 clients. I'm one person.
right,
I don't want to necessarily share this right now because I know the quality of service that I'm providing to my people. I
hmm,
bring somebody else in that doesn't see the vision the way that I see it, or God doesn't speak to them like He's spoken to me about how I need to operate and what I need to do in respect to pricing and things like that. They'll mess my stuff up, and I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to do that. So absolutely. So you've got to allow you may make the plans, but allow God to order those steps for you to make sure that everything that you've done. The Bible says when he blesses and he adds no grief or strife,
right.
no
Um,
sorrow. Some interpretations say so. Yeah.
yeah. So, like I said, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So for my viewers, a little bit I do have left because it has been an amazing show. We started out a little rough with the copyrights and stuff, but we end up getting back on for you guys because I really felt like this information can help somebody. I have a lot of people who go back later on tonight or tomorrow to view it because some people actually need this information. I have a lot of business friends who don't have an LLC, who don't know the importance of an EIN number. A lot of us put so much money into our business that we don't realize what we need to put the money into. I know
Right.
most people when I first started, I was like, I got the money. My mom always said you got to, make money, so you got to give money to make it. So you got to
Yeah, you gotta spend money to make money, and scared money
right.
don't make no money. You
That's
got to
it.
invest in your
So
business, but you got to
I
know
did
where and
that.
how to invest it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I started out with that. And then, with me moving and going, it was just so much that I ended up going back. So at the end of the time, I'm like, okay, Chester, you got to get back on your feet with Chester Chaz. Because I never knew how important Chess with Chaz was to people until people were reaching out to me. Hey, will you come back on, your topics or something I needed? Like I said, I never realized how important it was. But I thank everybody who has been loyal this far. So some news for next week. And I'll definitely be making a post throughout the week. Chaz with Chaz. I'm debating if I want to give y'all a Monday show because y'all gonna have to wait till Saturday. I'm praying on it. But Friday, but Chaz with Chaz for next week. Saturday will be live from Myrtle Beach. We will be in Myrtle Beach. For Chaz with Chaz. I'm taking a segment down. I was asked by our lady of the 70 Principal District to come down with a segment with Chaz with Chaz. You will see some, I will have panelists on there. We're gonna have some real talk with some young adults about life, real me, being you, just enjoying life. Don't allow people to put you in your boundaries. Don't allow for people to block you from your blessings. But I will be in Myrtle Beach next week. I'm excited, y'all. I'm definitely looking at this as an opportunity, a blessing.
Excited and proud of you.
Thank you. It's definitely been a long journey, but I believe that it's gonna work out for us good. So I'm debating if I want to go Monday. I'm debating. I might just rest. I'm not sure yet. And just give y'all the full effect on Saturday. On Saturday, it is gonna be early in the morning. The segment will be at 9 to 9:45 that morning. So if you aren't able to tune in that day, you can tune in afterwards. It will always be on my page. It will be on the 70 Principal District Lay page. So you will be able to catch it, and we'll keep going since. Thanks, Isis. I definitely appreciate that. So definitely look out for that. I will have some t-shirts coming out. They're going to be in different colors this year. This is just for this occasion. I wanted to kind of step out the boundary zone of Chastity's favorite color, gold and purple. So we're going to gold and blue, which is our lay colors. Everybody knows blue and white and gold is the loyalty colors for the district. So I'm going to make a Chester Chaz shirt with that, and on the back of it is going to say "Real Me." So I definitely want to get those processed and get those out to y'all. So if y'all want to purchase one, it is going to be long sleeve because we have a couple of more months in winter, well, weeks in winter. So I want to make sure everybody's out getting an opportunity to get those and experience that. But like I said, thank you to everybody. I appreciate all of y'all for y'all support, and I definitely thank Miss Candace. Thank you, sis, for being here. It is late. I did not realize it was almost 9:30.
Well, we got a late start. We had a little delay, so
I looked at the time. I was like, "Why is my computer just not moving?" And I looked at my phone. That's why. And with me, please let me apologize for me, going in and out. I was trying to handle business for that, and then trying to keep engaged with you. But like I said, thank you so much. I'm grateful to the information because I definitely wrote down my notes. I told y'all to get y'all pen and paper. I was writing
we
out my
got notes on the paper. Yay!
notes. That's what it is. If y'all have a paper and y'all don't have any notes, then y'all were not listening. But I definitely took notes for myself, for my business, to help a friend because I have, like I said, plenty of friends who don't have an LLC, who can't afford an LLC. Like I said, it is a hard thing to do, especially when you don't have somebody that actually can push you or
Right,
give you that boundary to say, hey, you need it. My mom's been telling me that for the past year that ChatZ has been in effect. So I was like, at this point, can't go wrong with it.
right, right,
I think it was more of a scare tactic. I was like, oh, this is just, a phase. I'm not going to stay here long, but I'm here still. It's still going. We have our ups and downs with life and health and stuff like that, but I still keep trying to push chest with chest. So I definitely will be doing that. So y'all stay tuned in for those that post because y'all know I'm gonna post it for y'all because y'all know that I make sure I keep my people engage with what's going on. I will watch what I've missed and take notes. Definitely ISIS, definitely. So y'all, it is the end of Chats with Chaz. I definitely love y'all. This was aired on YouTube, on Facebook page of mine, and also on Chats with Chaz Facebook page. So if you want to like, share, and comment, you can do. If you have any questions, you can definitely inbox me or you can inbox Miss Candace Holmes at
C. Holmes and
Holmes
Associates.
and Associates. Forgot it. I almost forgot it. I think I've been wanting to put the homes in front of the C, and I'm like, wait, that's not good. So y'all can definitely reach out to her if y'all have any questions. As she stated, she did give us free information, so that's why we thank her so much because we did not have to get it, but we did get it. So definitely, that's a big lookout to her. She's a goat for that because we don't have a lot of people who will give us that information without saying, "Hey, I got to charge you $200," or X, Y, and Z. Like I said, I thank you for everybody who gives out information to us to help somebody else grow their business because you never know what kind of buy somebody.
Right, right.
But y'all, this is the end of the show. It is now 9:30, and y'all girl is ready to go to sleep. So I know everybody, I hope everybody had a good day, that y'all had a good week. Tomorrow is hump day. Y'all make sure y'all post y'all pictures for the Chats with Chaz challenge. Make sure y'all wake up 15 minutes early. Make sure y'all meditate, drink a bottle of water, make y'all bed, and y'all make sure y'all pray. So definitely make sure y'all post y'all pictures, and I hope that y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. I love you. Thank you, Candace. I love you, and I hope that y'all have a great day. What?
Thank you. Let me do one more thing before we go. So
Okay.
I have to honor my husband. So I was having
Hey.
we reached out to each other earlier today, and we was both like, today's a rough day. I just started my job, and so I'm 3 weeks into training.
Mhm.
And so he comes in quietly, and he went upstairs and he came in here and fixed his plate, all quiet and whatnot. And so when we had the glitch, and I
Mhm.
was like, I don't want this shirt anymore. So I went upstairs and changed his shirt, and my husband had given me a gift and a card, and he said, I hope this makes it your day better. So I want to publicly thank my husband
I
for
know
doing
that's
that, for being considerate like that. And
that's
like I
right.
said, every day ain't Sunday. Sometimes it's some Friday nights and some Saturday evenings.
That's
But
it.
we fight to see another day to make it to Sunday. So yeah, so
Mhm.
I want to thank my husband Chris for my card and my bear and my whatever else is in my card.
That's right.
Mama need a new pair of shoes. So I want to thank him and for being patient. He's been patiently sitting in the living room while I'm doing this. I told him I had a live tonight. We expected it to only be an hour, but
Right.
he's been patient. So I appreciate that. So thank
Yes.
you, baby.
Yes, go to your
I
husband.
don't know if he's sleeping or not, but
All right,
And
and
you
I
all, I
love
want you
you.
all to have a blessed night and a blessed
You
evening.
too.
Enjoy the rest of your week. And please, y'all, these streets ain't no place to be. So be safe. Be safe.
Definitely.
We losing people too fast and too suddenly. Be safe. Be safe.
Yeah.
And tell your loved ones you love them.
That's it. I tell y'all, don't I tell y'all
Okay.
that all the time? I
Love
tell
you,
y'all,
girl. I love you.
thank you.
All right.
Good
Thank
night, y'all.
you.
Love y'all.